Hello dear students. Today we are going to start with chapter 12 of our organic chemistry, aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acid. This is your major chapter of organic chemistry. So overall this chapter is very important. Generally your 5 mark main question is asked from this chapter, and there is a lot of variety of question that can be asked from this chapter. So without wasting any time, let us begin with this chapter. Now since in this chapter we have to study 3 functional groups: aldehyde, ketones and carboxylic acid, I will divide it in 2 parts. In the first part of the videos, we will be discussing aldehyde and ketones, and carboxylic acids will be discussing totally in a different way. Now all these aldehyde, ketones and carboxylic acid, they are a group of carbonyl compounds. Now what are carbonyl compounds? Carbonyl compounds are those compounds in which carbon is doubly bonded attached with oxygen, and such compounds are called as carbonyl compounds. Now to this carbonyl group, this group is called as carbonyl group. If one side hydrogen is attached and on another side any alkyl group is attached, then we will call it as aldehyde. To this carbonyl group or this carbonyl carbon, if 2 alkyl groups are attached, then we will call it as a ketone. And to this carbonyl group, if one hydroxyl group is attached and one alkyl group is attached, then we will call it as carboxylic acid. So this was the general introduction for aldehyde, ketone and carboxylic acids, that they are a group of carbonyl compounds. This aldehyde, ketone and carboxylic acid have many reactions which are interrelated and which we have already studied in our previous chapter, alcohol, phenol and ether. So let us quickly move on to IUPAC and common naming system. In the nomenclature, first we will be discussing the trivial system or common naming system. Just now I am going to focus on aldehydes. Now in the common naming system or the trivial naming system, the aldehyde is named after the acid from which it is derived. For example, acetic acid, if the aldehyde is derived from acetic acid, the ending IC acid will be replaced by the word aldehyde, and therefore the name of this acid will be acetaldehyde. Now if there is a branching, then we follow the nomenclature of like alpha, beta, gamma. From our 11th class knowledge, we know this is alpha carbon atom, this is beta and so on. And therefore this will be called as alpha methyl, as methyl group is attached on alpha position and it is derived from butanoic acid, therefore it will be called as butyraldehyde. In the next example, the functional group is attached, this is alpha and on beta carbon atom, and so this will be named as beta bromo. Since it is derived from butanoic acid, therefore it will be butyraldehyde. Now when we are discussing IUPAC nomenclature, the aldehydes are commonly known as alkanals. Al is the secondary suffix. IUPAC nomenclature rules we have already studied in class 11, and from our 11th class knowledge, we know that aldehydes are terminal functional group. That means it will be at the end of the chain, and wherever this CHO group is present, the numbering will start from that carbon atom. So using all that rules, we are going to start the examples of IUPAC nomenclature for aldehydes. The first example, since aldehyde group is a terminal group, we will start numbering from here 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be 2-methyl butanol. Now in this second example, again CHO being a terminal group, the numbering will start from here 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be named as 3-methyl-butanol. Third example, numbering from terminal carbon atom. So this will be named as prop-2-enol. I hope all of you know your 11th class IUPAC basic rules. That is, first of all, the primary prefix, then word root, then primary suffix, and then secondary suffix. Fourth example. So this will be 3-phenyl. C6H5 is the phenyl group. So it will be 3-phenyl prop-2-enol. Now next example is a interesting example. We have two branches here and the main functional group, the terminal functional group. So the numbering will start from CHO. Now there are two branches which will be arranging alphabetically. So this will be 2-ethyl, 4-methyl, pentane, 1R. Since aldehyde is a terminal functional group, if we don't mention even one, then it is accepted. You can directly write as pentanol also. As you have seen, when I was solving these examples, I have given the numbering. In your board exams also, IUPAC nomenclature, this is one of the sure questions. So whether you are supposed to write the name from the formula or formula from the name, it is always better you give the numbering so that your answer becomes very specific one. If we discuss for aromatic aldehydes, IUPAC says that aromatic aldehydes are basically named as benzene carbaldehyde. This is a basic benzene carbaldehyde and it is also known as benzaldehyde. And this is the most accepted name. So let us now try to solve some examples which are the substituents or derived from the benzaldehyde itself. So this is numbering 1, 2 and therefore this will be named as 2-methyl benzaldehyde. The next one, numbering will be again from CHO group. So this will be 2-hydroxy benzaldehyde. And in our last chapter, alcohol and phenol, we have seen when hydroxy and CHO group, when they are in ortho position to each other, we call them as ortho-salicyl aldehyde. So IUPAC name or the common name, both are valid. The next example, 1, 2, 3, 4. And therefore the name will be 4-hydroxy, 3-methoxy, OCH3 will be methoxy group, benzaldehyde. The common name is vanillin. In the last example, numbering from again aldehyde group. So at third position, phenyl being the substituent, the name is 3-phenyl prop-2-enol. And its common name is cinnamaldehyde. Now let us try to solve certain examples of ketones. Again in nomenclature of ketones, we will be discussing the trivial system and IUPAC naming system. The trivial or common naming system is a very simple one. This one, in this there are two methyl group and therefore it will be named as dimethyl ketone. In the second example, there are two alkyl groups and therefore it will be labeled as ethyl methyl ketone. And in the last example, there is a phenyl substituent, so we'll also call as benzyl. In tribal naming system, it is called as benzyl methyl ketone. But in IUPAC naming system, the ketones are called as alkanones, and ketone is not a terminal functional group. So all the rules of numbering, that is the lowest locant rule, lowest locant sum rule, that will be applicable over here. The first example, numbering will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this will be pentane 2-on. In the second example, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are two ketonic groups. The name will be butane 2,3-dione. Now the next example is that of aromatic ketone. It is known as acetophenone. The third example, there are two phenyl groups attached to the word group. So the numbering will be 1, 2, 3, and therefore we'll name it as 1,3-diphenyl as 2 benzene as a substituent, propane 2-on. In the next example, two benzene rings are joined by a ketonic group, and that is called as benzophenone. Now next, as a substituent, numbering will start from here 1, 2, and that will be named as 2-methyl cyclohexanone. So that was all about the nomenclature of aldehydes and ketones. Let us discuss the structure of carbonyl compound or carbonyl bond, I will say. In all functional groups, we have to discuss the nature of carbon and of that particular functional group's bond. Now, if we have a look at the carbonyl compound, then in that carbon is attached to oxygen by a double bond, as well as oxygen has its two lone pairs on it. So as you people can see, there are 3 sigma bonds and 1 pi bond. This carbon is sp2 hybridized. As a result, we will say that this carbonyl compounds acquires trigonal planar geometry, which has 3 sigma bonds, 1 pi bond, and oxygen with its 2 lone pairs. Now, since oxygen has 2 lone pairs on it, as well as oxygen is more electronegative than carbon, and therefore this bond becomes polar. It develops a resonating structure. Oxygen will acquire minus charge, carbon will acquire positive charge, and therefore we'll say this bond will be polar in nature. As a result, carbonyl compound, they act as electrophile, or I will say they are Lewis base. They donate electron to other compound. So in the last part, just now we have completed IUPAC nomenclature. Moving on to preparation methods. Now there are separate preparation methods for aldehyde. There are separate preparation methods for ketones, and there are certain preparation methods which will give us both aldehyde and ketone, that are common preparation methods. So first of all, we are going to discuss the preparation methods for aldehydes. In that, the first one is Rosenmund reduction reaction. This is your name reaction, and it is generally done by using acyl chloride. All the name reactions are important for you people. So in Rosenmund reaction, acyl chloride, here I have taken example of acetyl chloride, is treated with hydrogen in presence of palladium and barium sulfate. This acyl chloride group gets reduced, and therefore Rosenmund reaction is also known as Rosenmund reduction. It will give ethanol plus HCl. We can take even benzoyl chloride. When it is treated with hydrogen in presence of palladium, barium sulfate, we get benzaldehyde. Now we know that hydrogen in presence of palladium does the process of reduction. Then what is the role of barium sulfate? Barium sulfate acts as a poison, or I will say it acts as a deactivating agent for catalyst. Now why we need to poison the catalyst, or why we need to deactivate the catalyst if barium sulfate is not used? Otherwise, this aldehydic group formed will be converted to 1 degree alcohol. And to prevent this, barium sulfate is used. So this is one thing that you have to remember about this reaction. The second thing which you have to remember about Rosenmund reaction, that is formaldehyde, commonly called as methanol, cannot be prepared by this method, and therefore the simplest aldehyde which we can prepare is ethanol. Now why we cannot prepare formaldehyde? Because for that we require formyl chloride. Formyl chloride is unstable at room temperature, and therefore it is not easy to convert formyl chloride to formaldehyde. Remember, this reaction, Rosenmund reaction, can be also called as Rosenmund reduction also. The second method for the preparation of its from aldehydes is by using nitriles or esters. This is called as a Stephan reaction. Can be also called as Stephan reduction. Whenever we are taking any nitrile and treating it with stannous chloride, SnCl2, also HCl, first of all we get imine. Now what is imine? Generally we know that carbon is triply bonded with nitrogen, but when carbon is doubly bonded with nitrogen and nitrogen is attached to either hydrogen or any other organic compound, then we'll call it as imine, which on further hydrolysis gives aldehyde. Let us take example of methyl cyanide. Methyl cyanide when treated with stannous chloride and HCl gives aldehyde, which on further hydrolysis gives us ethanol and ammonia as a byproduct. But there is alternate method also to convert cyanide to aldehyde, and that is by using diisobutyl aluminum hydride, commonly called as DIBALH. Its formula is ALH diisobutyl. So, diisobutyl aluminum hydride can be used to convert cyanide to aldehyde. So the example is when hex 4 in 1-nitrile is treated with DIBALH followed by hydrolysis, it gives us aldehyde. Now this is important reagent, because sometimes to confuse the students, instead of writing DIBALH, this formula is written. So don't get confused. That's a trick. Simply you have to convert cyanide to aldehyde. Moving on to the next method, it is the partial reduction of esters. Even esters can be reduced by using DIBALH. Esters such as ethyl decanoate can be reduced by using DIBALH followed by hydrolysis, will give us directly aldehyde ethyl undecanal. The next method is by using from hydrocarbons, and this method is basically for aromatic hydrocarbons. We have to discuss three different methods in this, aromatic aldehydes. So the first one is by using oxidation of methyl benzene. Here in this we'll have two different methods, either by using chromyl chloride as oxidizing agent or chromic oxide as an oxidizing agent. So first one, by using chromyl chloride as oxidizing agent, when methyl benzene is treated with chromyl chloride as oxidizing agent in presence of non-polar solvents such as CS2, first gives us chromium complex, and that on further hydrolysis gives us benzaldehyde. And this is your next name reaction, Itard reaction. In this chapter you will have a lot of name reactions, so it's better you go on noting them one by one separately. Now suppose in case of these substituted benzene, if the side chain of alkyl benzene is bigger than methyl, then which carbon will get oxidized to aldehydic group? The last carbon of the alkyl group chain gets oxidized to aldehydic group. For example, ethyl benzene. The oxidation of this carbon, which is the last one, that takes place and that is converted to aldehyde, resulting in phenyl ethanol. Now the second is by using chromic oxide as an oxidizing agent. When methyl benzene is treated with chromic oxide in presence of acetic anhydride at a temperature of 273 to 283 Kelvin, we get benzylidene diacetate, or it is also called as gem diacetate, which on hydrolysis gives us benzaldehyde. Now why we need to use this? Why we have to mask? This process is called as masking, or it can be also called as preventing of this group. Otherwise what will happen? It will get further oxidized to acid. This aldehyde group formed will get further oxidized to acid and will get benzoic acid rather than benzaldehyde, and therefore we are first of all masking it or preventing its further oxidation by converting into benzylidene diacetate or gem diacetate. The second method for the preparation of aromatic aldehyde is by side chain chlorination followed by hydrolysis. It is basically a commercial method. for manufacture of benzaldehyde, and therefore it has more importance. Compound like toluene, when it's treated with chlorine in presence of HNO, we know when this condition is there, halogen gets added next to doubly bonded carbon atom, and therefore we get here benzal chloride. And benzal chloride hydrolyzed at 373 Kelvin gives you benzaldehyde. The next method, or I will say next name reaction, is Gattermann-Koch reaction. So till now we have seen at least 3 to 5 name reaction: Rosenman, Itard reaction, Gattermann-Koch reaction. It directly starts for benzene when it is treated with carbon monoxide in presence of HCl using halogen carrier or Lewis acid like anhydrous AlCl3, or even you can use cuprous chloride, then we get directly benzaldehyde. Remember, name reactions are one of the important part of your chemistry board exams. 2 name reactions are sure questions for your board exams. So we'll take a break here today. Today we have seen the preparation of only aldehydes. In our next part of the video, we will be discussing the preparation of ketones and the common methods for the preparation of aldehydes and ketones. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Happy learning.